Nope, still not a ninja. It's okay. Hey, and welcome back to my channel. Today, we're just gonna jump into this. So, basically, there is this song. Okay, no, we will start at the beginning. There's this band called the Grey Havens, and I really love them. And they are putting out an album called Blue Flower, and so far, I really love it. Now, they've started doing a podcast talking about behind the scenes on all of the episodes, and I've been listening to that, and it's been like my favorite thing ever. It's amazing. One of the songs that they've come out with so far is Endless Summer, and that's one of the ones that I'm just like, this is so good. Like, right from the beginning, I was like, I love this song. This very well articulates some things that I feel all of the time. And so I really appreciated it. Oh my goodness, it's such a good song. But basically, one of the lines that I really, really like is, I'll just start from the beginning. Basically, the first verse, and the part I really like is at the end, is like, have you ever missed somewhere that you've never been before? Like there's a memory there, except you don't remember anymore. I feel the weight in the silence, and when the night starts getting cold. And it's been like that for a long, long time. And I heard we've got a longer way to go. And for some reason, I really, really liked that line of like, I heard we've got a longer way to go. And I was like, why do I like that? Like, that's depressing. That's kind of sad. But then I was realizing, I don't know, I really appreciate the honesty there, because it has been hard for so long, and we're not there yet. Like, admit it, we're not done yet. Like, Jesus could come back at any moment, but for every moment that we take a breath, like, we're like, okay, it wasn't that one, okay, it wasn't that one. And we can assume that we still have a long way to go. Maybe not like a super long way to go, but I don't know. There's still more time. We're going to have to wait a while longer. And I just really appreciated the raw honesty in that line of just naming it like it is. Yeah, I just like that at the end of the song, it's like, it hasn't solved everything. We're still waiting. Like, we've put it out in honesty of how we feel, and then recognizing that we're gonna keep feeling that way for a long time. Like, we're gonna feel that again in the future. That's a weight that we do carry with us throughout our lives. Whether we die with it, or whether Jesus comes back and fulfills that longing and that desire, it's something that we carry with us as long as we live. But yeah, I don't know, I just really appreciated the honesty of being able to name it like that. And I was thinking a little bit more about it and realizing that's one of the reasons that I really like fantasy so much. It's a way to name, in a sense, a truth that is a deeper truth than what we're experiencing. Because I don't know, like, life right now doesn't feel super epic, I guess. Like, just normal everyday life, it doesn't really feel like that much of a story or an adventure, or like things are going on that matter. But in reality, they are. And so fantasy helps us to see the bigger picture, really, of how big and broad the scope of this is and how epic it is. Because, yeah, they put it in terms of, like, giant forces of evil against small forces of good, and, like, showing, like, courage and stuff in the small acts. And that's really what it's like. Like, we think we see so clearly, and we're like, oh, this stuff is all made up. When actually, I think it's, in a way, like, grounded in a deeper reality than we are. And it's recognizing truths that we don't really recognize. But yeah, something that I really appreciate about fantasy is how epic it is and how big of a deal it makes everything. So since they're going for those proportions, which are the true proportions, honestly, they can make the darkness seem so big. They can make it seem so big, so strong, so powerful, that you're just like, how on earth can we defeat this? And I really, really appreciate that, of just being able to name the darkness for what it is. But then if at the end of the book they can still find light and hope, if at the end there's still a good ending somehow, that gives me hope for my life. And in my life, I want to be able to acknowledge how hard the hard is and be able to name it honestly, because that's something that I have a problem with, is being able to express the harder parts of life instead of quickly jumping to, oh, but God is good. But I think that makes it all the more beautiful if, like, after expressing all of that, then I have the hope that I can still come to a place of peace and joy in God and who He is. And I know that that's possible because I have experienced it before, and also, like, from reading these books or, like, watching these movies like The Lord of the Rings. I loved that movie because there were so many moments where you're just like, they're gonna die. There is absolutely no hope. Like, what are we even doing? And yet then somehow the light breaks through. And so yeah, I really appreciated the honesty that fiction is actually able to portray in that way. And then also, I don't know, I had the thought of, like, it gets so dark beforehand, and we're like, why is that a good storytelling technique, and why is that something I'd want in my life? Like, why couldn't there just be no darkness? Like, why couldn't God come through and save me? And I'm so bad at articulating stuff. This is the first time I've ever tried, okay? Grant me grace. Okay, think about daytime. Like, there's the sun that shines, and it exposes basically all of the earth. And you can't really see the stars when the sun is shining. Like, that light blocks out the other lights. And I don't know, I think of the sun as like God's... I'm going to turn this into a stupid metaphor. This isn't going to make sense because the stars aren't a metaphor for anything, necessarily. The stars don't necessarily represent God. But for me, in my mind, I think of the sun, in general, like, just the thought of the sun is like, it's God's goodness to us that rises anew every single day, gives us new hope, new life. Because, yeah, it's just like His grace to us and His goodness to us in all of the little everyday things that aren't necessarily Him, but it's like His gifts to us. And we become so accustomed to them because we get it every single day. And, like, that's what we see is, like, the goodness of God everywhere until we don't even really see it as goodness anymore. Like, how often do we think about the fact that the sun came up this morning? It's like, pfft, of course it did. Duh. And so then I was thinking about, like, I don't know. I want to be able to see God for who He is. I want to see Him come through and know that it was Him and nothing else. Like, I want to see that it was His hand in this, that no one else gets any credit or any glory, that it was specifically Him who came in and delivered me and rescued me and gets all of the glory for whatever victory was accomplished. And so I was like, honestly, God, like, I wouldn't mind it getting so dark beforehand because, like, I want You to douse out all the other lights, even the things that are, like, Your goodness to me and Your provision to me that aren't necessarily You. Like, I want You to take away everything, douse all the other lights, so that then the true light can break forth. And I will see it for what it is, in all of its glory, with nothing else competing for attention or the spotlight or anything. Like, there's that one light, the true light, Jesus, the bright and morning star. And so, yeah, I like that fantasy kind of does that. It gives me that image of, like, the darkness just coming in and, like, blocking out everything and overtaking everything. But then, that's what the real light and hope can pierce through. I don't know how to finish this. Just... please be able to understand that thought. But anyway, yeah. So, that's some random stuff that I'm thinking about. I never know how to end these. This is so awkward. Good thing I get to cut this part out. What more is there to say? Go listen to that song. Go listen to the podcast, and it explains all the other songs and makes them amazing too. And be encouraged about the darkness. It doesn't win in the end. And hopefully it is only setting the stage for God and only God to come through for us and us to be able to see just Him, just how much He cares for us, and just how powerful He is when there's nothing else left. That He is still enough, and that He's still willing to step in and take care of us. So, have a great life, and thank you for watching, and goodbye until more interesting things happen.